thought it was like cool enough to wear a shirt, just like a regular shirt up here, but I'm already hot. I might have to go put on the tank top. Or is it my sandwich just making me hot?
Well, hi there, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a pretty big video for you guys and gals today. So, as you guys have known, the past 3 years, yes, we just hit the 3rd anniversary of Last of Us Part 2 last month. So, it has been 3 years since Last of Us Part 2. It kind of puts a lot in perspective. In these past 3 years, we've gotten a lot of leaks, a lot of rumors, a lot of discussion, a lot of even talk from Neil Druckmann on The Last of Us Part 3. But today becomes a big day because this is probably the most substantial rumor/leak we have gotten in regards to The Last of Us Part 3 in these last 3 years. I would have to say this is a huge leak/rumor, and it hints at what we could be seeing with the game. I'm going to go through everything with the leak, who said it, what it's about, what I think about it, do I think it's true or not, and all of that, and some discussion around it. But firstly, I want to catch you guys up on The Last of Us Part 3. We've made a lot of videos on it, so I'm going to give you a quick little breakdown of what's happened in the last 3 years to lead up to this. You guys do enjoy this. Nope.
Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, P Game. So, I was just reflecting on this whole Britney Spears, Victor Wembanyama situation, and the Las Vegas PD announced that they will not be pursuing any charges. Basically, nobody's going to jail. Basically, they saying Britney Spears don't have a leg to stand on, and let's just keep it a buck. This was basically a situation where it was a misunderstanding, but Britney Spears to me is trying to milk this into a situation.
Already know.
Recording on Zoom? Who still does that?
Thankfully, with Riverside, you can record audio and video locally both on your and your guest computers at the highest quality possible.
So Wi-Fi quality won't affect the final result of your recording.
Meaning all your files will look top-notch. All your guests need...
I already know what time it is, man. We got these woke TikToks. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. 50% of people that watch my channel aren't even subscribed. Let's go ahead and run that thing up. We could have been at 1 million yesterday. You feel me? Look, let's run it up. I appreciate y'all, though. Good vibes only. Let's get into this video without further ado. Just know you going through this thing with all of us on here on this channel. You know what I'm saying? I kind of messed that up, but I'm going to keep this in here, though. Y'all feel me, though? Real players mess up sometimes, too. Let's get it. I'm not going down no tunnel with some shit screaming. Shit out of somebody.
Why does the Pope worship a black God? This video is for all the people out there who think God is not black. I always wonder why this pops up when you search Jesus on Google. It shows a white man, but in your Bible it clearly says that he's black. but your Pope literally bows down and prays to a black god. And that's because he knows the truth. The very evil person, he does very weird things, but he knows the truth. They're not stupid. Like, just watch this. I see it right there. Pictures of him bowing down and kissing the feet of black men. Which I think we're crazy when we come on this app and say we're non-ether beings. We're not humans. We're gods. People dehumanized us for so long and told us we weren't even human. And ever since I had my awakening, I completely agree. We're not. We're gods and goddesses. And that's the reason we've been oppressed so heavily. I worship a book that's about black people, but was written by white people. Instead of finding the true religion we have for thousands of years.
You already know.
Right.
There's a mind-blowing conspiracy theory about a real-life Millennium Falcon alien spacecraft being found at the bottom of the ocean. It's called the Baltic Sea Anomaly, and it...
Nice. It's kind of warm up here now. I might have to turn that fucking AC on for a little while. I'll probably try to do like an hour real quick. I'm always eating, man. I stay hungry, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel right in the studio if I don't got no food in here. Or at least something to drink. I gotta have something to eat, something to drink, or something. AC already loud enough there.
may or may not prove the existence of ultra-advanced extraterrestrial life. In June of 2011, a group of underwater explorers stumbled across a massive underwater structure laying at the bottom of the ocean just off the coast of Sweden. This strange object is over 200 feet long and 26 feet tall. And the craziest part is that the shape of this mysterious object bears a striking resemblance to the Star Wars Millennium Falcon. Researchers claimed that whenever they got too close to this mysterious object, all of their electrical equipment, including their satellite-powered phones, would completely power off and not work anymore. The mysterious structure also has what appears to be a staircase, straight lines and angles, and many other distinctively artificial features. Here's where it gets even crazier though. There's literally a 300-meter runway track on the ocean floor that leads directly up to the a strange structure, leading many to speculate whether or not this may have been a UFO that crash landed into the ocean thousands of years ago. While other people have different interpretations, some people believe it to be a submerged World War II bunker, a perfectly natural geological formation, or even an ancient temple built by an ultra-advanced ancient civilization like maybe Atlantis, for example. Here's what's interesting though. In 2017, a study was conducted using samples from this strange anomaly, and it was concluded that it contained unusual metals that could not be formed through natural geological processes.
Hey, you know what? What makes a lot of sense is, bro, like when we put our heads together, this is crazy, man. Naturally, we see what's happening in the world, how water is being displaced and moving in different places and stuff like that. We can do it the man-made way, or it can happen with nature. Nature will really force its way, because sometimes we done got to the point where we will slow down the process of Earth's evolution with all this pollution and stuff that we do. So, you know, I'm just saying though, back in the day, man, a lot of this stuff that we can't see was above ground. Just like if you look at some of these places that's full of sand, that shit used to be water. Water used to be on top of that. But water moves, man.
Tensions between Western countries and Russia and China have been growing, but what if
natural geological processes?
All I'm saying is, Atlantis thing. Thank you for everything, but
tensions between Western countries and Russia and China have been growing, but what if we haven't been told the full reason why? Back in 2020, an article was released claiming that Russia believed Antarctica was not what we've been told. 2 years later, Russia began mining in Antarctica despite there being a mining ban. There was even rumors at the time that they had broken the Antarctic Treaty. And just a few weeks ago, China announced that it wanted to have its own expansion to Antarctica, which is really strange when you think about the fact that Antarctica has been melting the fastest that it has in years. But maybe that's the key. Many of you have seen metallic-looking objects sticking out of Arctic ice through satellite imagery, but what if those objects are ancient, advanced technologies left there from a previous civilization? And while some countries want to harvest this technology and implement it in their societies, others want to keep it locked away from the general public. This was the tensions between Western countries and Russia and China have been growing, but what if we haven't been told the full reason why? Back in 2020, an article was released claiming that Russia believed Antarctica was not what we've been told. 2 years later, Russia began mining in Antarctica despite there being a mining ban. There were rumors at the time that they had broken the Antarctic Treaty. And just a few weeks ago, China announced that it wanted to have its own expansion to Antarctica, which is really strange when you think about it. Antarctica has been melting the fastest that it has in years, but maybe that's the key. Many of you have seen metallic-looking objects sticking out of Arctic ice through satellite imagery, but what if those objects are ancient, advanced technologies left there from a previous civilization? And while some countries want to harvest this technology and implement it in their societies, others want to keep it locked away from the general public. This was the day that the government was caught with a Secret Service agent in HD, and they didn't deny anything. In 2013, this footage was live streamed on television while Obama was making his speech. People noticed a weird-looking Secret Service agent with green skin, and people noticed how non-human he looked, even with the color change filter on. And then when the government was confronted with having reptilian beings in the government, this is what they said to the public. Check this out. I can't confirm the claims made in this video, but any alleged program to guard the president with aliens or robots would likely have to be scaled back or eliminated in the sequester. This was said by the spokesperson for the National Security Council. I literally looked for this video everywhere and couldn't find it. The only place it actually exists now is Reddit. Even websites that claim to have it, it's just a blank space if the video is taken off. This is obviously a non-human being and looks like a reptilian humanoid, and he probably is a newbie and got in trouble for failing to hide his identity while on camera. One thing is for sure, they could not hide this one. It was literally caught in HD.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Daniel from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce
what you
that
talking
local
about, bro?
recordings are now available on StreamYard.
Bro, what you saw in Cali? I want to see. What are you talking about? Oh, now this motherfucker's claiming he done seen some shit. Another conspiracy theory. Here we go. You know, more than likely what you saw was a balloon that was enveloped in some swamp gas during the Aurora Borealis. That's all it was, man. Almost 100% positive. Oh, damn. I forgot my the lighter I had up here. Bitch ran out of fluid. And well, I'm guessing I'm not smoking right now because I definitely don't feel like running back downstairs. Email or Instagram. My Instagram right there, Paintings by the Prince. If you don't got that, yeah, just you can email it to me. This motherfucker said he got proof. He said he got proof, bro. I'm reading the email. Damn, yo. For $8 grand? Oh man. Bruh. How many miles on it? 190. I mean, still. It's a 460. Rear wheel drive. Yo, this shit is a fucking super sport sedan. I don't know. I don't know. Oh 08. I don't know. I would ask for a couple bucks off on that shit for the miles, and because the leather, they let the leather go. Um, all right. I don't see that email in there yet. I don't know what. It'll be taking a minute for me to get an email sometimes. Oh yeah, they had it for a while. You know, that's not a bad price. Still, it's not a bad price. I would still ask for a couple bucks off. Cause you're almost at 200,000, but with them Lexus engines, that shit don't mean shit, man. They some of them cars out there got motherfucking goddamn 350,000 miles on that bitch. That shit still purring like a kid at 350. Like the miles don't really mean nothing. As long as that shit has been serviced and maintained, that's all that really fucking counts. Service and maintenance. You maintain that fucking Lexus, that bitch gonna ride. Change the oil, keep your fluids fresh in that bitch. Flush your coolant system every once in a while. Good. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you.
From a very long time ago. That is a very old clip, but why is it in Scrubs?
So question, do y'all think we're living on a celestial being? Y'all stay dangerous.
So the as above, so below side is right. This is why I love this movie, because of the as above, so below perspective of it. So if we live on a celestial being, and this being wakes up when we give it enough energy, when we hit a certain frequency, right? Our beings, us, we will not wake up and hit that frequency if the cells within us don't hit a certain frequency. You see what I'm saying? So the only way our cells and our inner world, our inner universe, our cells can wake up and wake us up and hit a certain frequency is if we receive information and energy from the celestial being. You see what I'm saying? You see how everything is connected? The celestial being will not wake up if we do not wake up. We do not wake up if our cells do not wake up. Our cells do not wake up if we don't receive the information and energy from the celestial being.
You This is your shit. You made this, you made this, you made this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. You made this, you made this, you made this, and 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 this. You made that, you made that. Them two, that two, that three, that four. You made that, you made that, you made that, that, and that, that,
Yeah.
that, and that, and that. You made that, that.
Yeah.
Made this, not this, and not this.
Not this, not this, not this, not this.
Made this, and this, this, and this. Made this, and that, and that, and that, and that. Alliance battle. What the hell is this? Play it only on PC.
My goal wasn't to build a universal future-proof API, even though that's what I did. It was to build Dataset GPT that operates just like ChatGPT, but scrapes the internet for the information you're looking for and returns that as a dataset. The amount of data I've been needing over the past month is astounding. From scraping YouTube videos for market research to scraping Amazon to give me data on competitor products to a company I'm hoping to buy. Now imagine one could just type into ChatGPT, give me the 10 most popular YouTube videos from these 3 channels, and it would just work. Well, that was Dataset GPT, and I actually made some progress on it too. I set off to build it after gaining access to the GPT-4 API beta. I built a simple little application just like ChatGPT. Well, kinda. I built a Node.js application with the API just about as it says in the documentation. My OpenAI API configuration, create chat completion, store it in an array. I wrote some HTML to build a simple UI and a script to log the messages, the chat.
This shit is lit. I ain't gonna lie.
We've got more
I got me
updates on
hyped.
the object that was shot down over Alaska, and it's apparently leaning more towards being a UFO rather than another spy balloon. Many people are already starting to believe that this is just one of many encounters that we'll see in the future. I want you to check out a clip and let me know what you think in the comments.
The Pentagon still knows little about the object. It is now sitting on the Arctic ice, waiting to be recovered. As cylindrical and silverish gray. Military says the object was unmanned, and we are told it appeared to be floating, not being steered or propelled like the Chinese spy balloon. No word on who sent this object up or what it was doing.
Alright, let's talk about so-called hair, if that's what you want to call it. If you are not either being God or goddess, you really don't have hair, but we're going to jump into it. Walking around calling our ether or roots or tennis, you feel me? We get downloads with these.
Who is this guy? This older Vietnam guy. Paul? I see the email you sent with the old guy in it. Who's that?
On this hair, but it's really not even hair. The definition of hair is any of the fine thread-like strands growing from the skin of humans, mammals, and some other animals. Last time I checked, we don't have any animal DNA in us at all. This is hair right here. A lot of y'all goddesses walk around trying to get it like this for some reason. You have so many different options of your natural ether you can get that looks unique actually. I'm gonna pop up a couple images for y'all real quick. You got a goddess right here with a natural ether, you feel me? And it really looks unique, like nobody else can get it like that. A natural fro right here, a natural fro, you feel me? And it looks unique and nice. They have animal DNA flowing all around through them, you feel me? They genetically spliced with 4 different animals. So that's why it falls straight down and ours just defies gravity and goes.
No, I just got pictures of him. I don't see a flag picture. It's him in a purple shirt. It's him in a jersey. It's him with a lady. And then it's him in a green shirt. And then it goes back to the picture of him in a jersey, the picture of the purple shirt, and the picture of the jersey again. Alright. I'll check back on it. I say my email be moving slow as shit sometimes.
Straight up to the cosmos. It's another goddess right here with a natural ether, a natural roots or antennas, her locks, you feel me? Like, we need to start really calling the hair because, like, we must know the power of words. A lot of people like to think, oh, it's just a lot of hairs growing from your, you feel me, your crown chakra is just hair, it don't really mean nothing. But we actually get a lot of downloads with our ether, our roots or antennas. The longer you let it grow and just let it be natural, the more downloads you can receive, you feel me? I want to know is this. Malcolm, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?
The fact that our roots, our ether, antennas look so different, why was I want to try to make it look like, you feel like theirs, like, you feel me, the W people. We also must understand the power of our locks, our ether, our roots, our antennas. So I'm gonna let Rashad take it away real quick. Y'all watch this video.
The other reason they don't want you wearing your hair long is because it connects you to nature. The more you let your matted hair, matted ether, the more you let your matted ether grow, it holds all this electricity and energy. See, this is why we wear our hair like that. And we are magnets, magnetism. So this makes you more magnetic. Your hair makes everything about you. It's like your locks is like crystals. Your locks is just like wearing motherfucking crystals. You know what I'm saying? Your locks or your afro, you let your hair just grow out, braids, locks. Guys, it's just natural. If you let your hair just grow natural, you didn't have enough to just let it be natural. Okay, how you style it? You can style it how you want to style it. You need to have some ether on your motherfucking crown chakra, my nigga. Especially with all this light coated hair doing. Because then if you got ether, it helps protect you against, especially if you're aware. The longer my ether be, the more powerful I become, the more tapped in I become with everything, with all of nature, everything be attracted to. Say, look, when you go in the military, they program the fuck out you, right? And notice, what do the military do? Shave their hair.
Yep.
They understand the signs of you, man.
Yep.
They understand the signs of you.
Another thing about that too, man, like they understood in the military too as well. Like if we cut our facial hair, especially with a certain type of curl like mine, and curl back up into my skin, and then make my skin instantly start looking like a fucking star crunch, right? It'll just start pussing up and get bumps everywhere, and that can really damage your face. Can't give a fuck though. Like, but if you get a shaver waiver, they consider you to be a dirtbag. But why did you let me into the military if that's gonna be a part of the problem? You just wanted, you just thought you was gonna be able to make me do whatever you wanted to, and to permanently damage my face, but that wasn't gonna be the case. You feel me? But they consider you a dirtbag for real if you have facial hair, man, within the military. Crazy, right? That's the type of stuff that used to like get to me, stuff like that. And it just seemed like nobody really wanted to try to understand your situation because it didn't happen to them. But they want to make a rule that will greatly affect you. And I was one of those people.
Filmed.
But they wanted to take that away. They want everything. They want to control it. You can have dreads, none of that.
6,000 feet deep. Why does it have hands? Where is it going?
Looks like Shadow Monster from Stranger Things. that you need to detox your body. Being excessively fatigued. You wake up tired or sluggish throughout your day. This chronic lack of energy makes completing your daily responsibilities feel impossible. A proper detox will make you feel like a new person on the inside and outside. Your body will function better and boost your energy throughout the day. Acne is another sign you need a detox. When toxins overload your body, they try to escape through your face. A good detox will help clear your skin. If your weight is not optimal for your health, you need a detox. Eliminating toxins will help you lose weight and boost your metabolism. If you get sick easily or very often, you need to detox. A system congested with toxins will not function properly. A detox frees up your organs to function the way that they should, which gives your immune system a boost. If you're stressed out, toxins impair your mental capacity and eventually reach your nervous system. This leads to bad sleeping patterns, anxiety, depression, lack of focus, irritability, and brain fog. You can't think clearly. If you have a hot, sticky, gross disgusting, you need a detox. Like, I'm not talking about morning breath. I'm talking that it's 3 o'clock and you brushed your teeth this morning. Why is your breath musty? Type rancid, horrible breath comes from a backed up colon. When you detox, you clean out your colon and digestive system. After a detox, you will have an improved sense of overall well-being. I'm gonna upload a video of my high vibrational diet that I use to stay detoxed and stay healthy.
Hey, that's why they call it talking shit. Y'all go follow this man. What's up? You speaking from your ass, for real, for real. Making an ass of yourself.
There is 3 common misconceptions about extraterrestrials that you should know. Right away, the first one is that their characteristics can be judged by their looks. This one is a very primitive concept that humans have that we've done for so long, so it's kind of in our culture to do this. But you can't do this with ETs because so many reptilians are good and so many human-looking ones are bad. So you can't really judge them by their looks. Don't forget that the universe is full of so many different types of beings with different variations of their own species, different ways of living and cultures and languages. Honestly, you'd be surprised to hear this, but majority of the reptilian species are actually positive. But it's weird because majority of the dark forces is led by reptilians. So it's like the dark reptilians are setting a bad rep for the entire reptilian gene pool. Number 2, all extraterrestrials
Sound familiar, right?
are spiritual. No, all of them are aware of the grander being, the universal consciousness, psychic abilities, and all of that. But not all of them want to affiliate with this type of living. Some of them are what we would call anti-cosmos, which they have something really against the creator and the universal being that we live in, and so they want to use technology to do what spirituality can do. Remember, there is no good or bad, only different vibrations and ways of living. So the dark forces would consider love bad, just like how we would consider darkness bad.
That's
but
crazy,
they just rather a lower vibration way of living, so they're against anything related to the universal consciousness. As you can see here, different vibrations, different lifestyles, ways of living, all of that. Number 3 is that all of them have everything figured out, and this is a huge misconception. Yes, most of them have evolved thousands or millions of years beyond us, but this doesn't mean that they have no challenges or that they're not searching for more knowledge about the universe. It's just like how people think rich people have no challenges or are happy the rest of their lives, but they're not different than all the other humans, they just have different challenges. Extraterrestrials are amazing, and get ready because the government is already announcing so much about them, and even more is coming out this week.
Right. Y'all see all them disclosures on Fox, all that. I predicted this years ago. My family to tell you, man. I've been telling them that this was going to happen. I seen things happen behind the scenes and everything. I seen all the signs. I've been there. Real talk. You talking about something like that? Was at the source and seen some shit. Yeah.
There are many ancient souls that are walking around this planet with dormant DNA that is waiting to be awakened. This DNA has been labeled as junk DNA, but there is nothing junk about your DNA. And when you begin to tap into your dormant DNA, you will begin to understand that you have ancestors that span across the universe. There are many ancient souls that have damaged DNA from experiencing extensive traumas within their life, with your DNA being very responsive to the energetic vibration in which you resonate at. And those low energetic frequencies that we experience through trauma is what damages our DNA. One of the most potent ways to heal your damaged DNA is through frequencies, with frequencies like 528 Hertz being able to heal your DNA. And once you begin to heal your damaged DNA, you will then be able to tap into the dormant DNA you have. With the only reason that your DNA is dormant is because you have not had the right vibrational frequency to activate it.
Like that. Like that.
What's the temperature in the room
It
today?
is, y'all. Don't blink or you might miss it. Don't blink or you might miss it.
Alright.
You
Not
see
gonna
it?
about to blink, bruh.
You missed it.
Oh, I see you.
I actually just wanted to test my thermometer to make sure it wasn't broken. And I think it's broken. Oh no, it's not. So I had it in the refrigerator. And so it was freezing, and when I pulled it out, it was at 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically freezing. And as soon as I pulled it out, you can see it's gone up. So yeah, it was right at fucking 0, damn near frozen. And I don't know, I just literally pulled it right out the fucking refrigerator because it stays past the 80 so much. I'm like, does this thing even really work? But I don't know. If you can hear, I have the AC blowing right now. So let's just set this up here for a minute and see what kind of reading we get in here. It's not too bad. It's pretty cool. You know, it's kind of cool in here. No, that wasn't Young Pharaoh, I don't think. That was, I forgot the other dude's name. I gotta get some even smaller brushes. Man. I really need to go grab a lighter. I've been procrastinating on that.
Right there, yeah.
What is that? Yeah, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Right in. Wow. Ooh. Awesome.
Yeah, what was that?
Look at that. Here it is as a still image right there. Look at this.
Y'all see that joint, right? I ain't tripping.
They're all around us all the time. But oh, that's Project Blue Beam.
Hey, real talk though. Being in the air, that's why they gotta move so fast in the air, man. I don't think it's fair for them to be scaring shit out of people in the planes though. Like, we seen the movies, man. Oh, though, like, I'm not on a plane where shit go crazy and you start to see this, like you see the shit on the movies. That's like my worst fear, to be for real with you. If I have a fear in me, it's that I'm not in control of that. Give me a parachute, bro. I'm good with a parachute. I'm gonna start traveling with a parachute. Shit go down, cut the engine, I'm jumping out. That's what they at least should let people do. What about that? Or eject us through this and let us have a fighting chance. Because if you stay on this big ass sausage and it hit the ground like that, you're gonna splatter everywhere. You feel me? That sausage with wings. That's what you want.
The theory that we live in a simulation, generally we think about us being plugged up to a computer somewhere while our consciousness is in a false reality that we think is real. But there is a new theory that's been going around in regards to the simulation theory that's a little bit strange. As some of y'all might remember, I talked about the theory that there is 2 suns in the sky, one being our natural sun and the other being an artificial sun that was placed there. I pulled up a patent that was filed in 1961 called an illumination system, which was created with the intention of simulating sunlight, moonlight, and earthlight, and I was sent another patent that was filed in 1960 that's called a solar simulator, which according to line 3 is meant to be an artificial sun that is supposed to be the approximate intensity of the sun. This theory states that instead of us being plugged into some matrix or simulation mentally, we are here physically with the matrix or simulation itself built all the way around our world and the real sun, stars, and moon above this simulation. There has been many videos of strange anomalies like the sky appearing to have 2 separate shades of blue
The Truman Show?
straight line. the sky being blue and then appearing to turn off, people hearing very loud machine-like noises coming from the sky. And even a video of an attempt.
I don't got no more emails. That was the last one with the pictures from the O-head. Let's see. Yep. It says, Shaman, you're at the top of my email list, and I already opened that one. Paul. Oh, the other one got blue dots beside it, but the one at the top is already open. And that's the last email. That's all I got. Actually, I don't know why my Yahoo be coming through super slow sometimes, but I don't know. He talking about the aliens better chill. Yo, you already know Chad. Yo, Chad and Jeremy they gonna try some shit out. You know? Let's see what that alien pussy like. Y'all got a poom poom? The motherfuckers in West Virginia don't play. They say, hell, I'll fuck a snake if you hold his head. The first, motherfucker gonna be the first person to catch a intergalactic STD. Anybody want none of that? No, we don't got no shit to cure it. We can't even cure fucking the common cold. Can't cure athlete's feet. You catch some shit from an alien, you just
Glitch in the Matrix, where if you look close enough, it appears to have the same hexagonal designs as the patents from earlier. Now, this theory could definitely be a stretch, but leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments.
Let's talk about the Anunnaki, the Cabal, and the science behind it.
the Anunnaki
are the beings that
is Sumerian, the Cabal is Jewish.
Their own genetic material and that of the 8 hominids that were already on Earth to create slave labor and later mercenaries. They're from a planet called Nibiru that is within our solar system that circles around every 3,600 years. This was all considered myth and legend until Caltech researchers at the University of Bern in 2015 found mathematical evidence of a giant planet circling an unusual orbit within our solar system, and they named it Planet X. So this is not a conspiracy to science. Before they left Earth, we worshipped them as gods, and they wanted them. But the return of the Anunnaki is considered a wild card that concerns national security agencies because they're unaware of how the Anunnaki are going to impact global humanity. This is the thing, these beings have a whole regulatory mechanism to basically manage humanity and keep us at a certain level of consciousness and advancement. They are actually competing with the reptilians and play a huge role in the creation of elite organizations run by privileged families in Europe loyal to the Anunnaki. These organizations are led by secret societies like the Cabal. Those secret societies compete with U.S. organizations that focus on the transferring of extraterrestrial technology with humans. There's been a lot happening on Earth that's been hidden from the populace for a very long time, but don't worry because we're in the middle of disclosure and it's happening more and more each day.
Yeah, that's what I keep feeling, yo, over and over. Sooner or later, they're just gonna have to acknowledge the fact, or say like, yeah, this is true. Whatever.
It may be great for
you've been
meetings, but you need a
thinking.
platform that's actually designed for podcasters, and that's Riverside. Creating a podcast can take hours and hours for each step, but with Riverside, you can cut that time in half. Riverside gives you the highest quality video and audio quality, up to 4K resolution and 48 kilohertz for audio, making your podcast look and sound professional. When I record remotely, I'm always worried about losing quality, but Riverside has local recording technology, which also makes sure that you don't lose your recording due to bad internet connection.
Okay. I'm about to go grab a lighter. I was gonna try to make it without smoking, but I'm gonna smoke a little bit. When I get back, I'll check the thermometer, thermostat thing. Alright, he said one last attempt. Let me check the email, see if I got that. Oh, there it goes. I don't know, man. That shit look like that shit look like somebody's drone. What do y'all think? This is a UFO or what? Nah, that shit don't look like no drone. That shit got too many lights on it. Oh damn. I should have took that nap earlier like I said I was. I don't know. That's a lot of lights. This is what, 6 lights on that bitch, man. I mean, something. It's something. At least I'm gonna call it how I see it. I seen a UFO, motherfucker. You know, see all them lights? Look, it's shaped like a disc, and all the lights are on the bottom of it. That shit flew overhead silently. That's crazy though, bro. Yeah, that's wild. Damn. Wait, so Where was that at? Is that in front of your house, or you were visiting somebody, or where the fuck you saw that shit at? Alright, this one right here really probably put me to sleep. I don't have work tomorrow, so I can afford to like go to sleep hella early and then just be up all in the middle of the night. I just go to sleep like 6, 7 o'clock and wake up at midnight. Just be up all fucking night to 5 o'clock in the morning. Napalm said that's all cap, nigga. I was in Cali, chilling at the homie crib. We was outside smoking. Next thing I know, UFO, bro. Flew right over the neighborhood. I don't even wear a hat. I don't even own a hat. I don't never cap, nigga. I couldn't cap if I wanted to. Did anybody else? Did one of your homies? Like, alright, so you in Cali chilling at the homie crib. Now, did somebody hit the homie phone up and be like, yo, bro, I just seen some shit in the hood, nigga, you know, whoop, whoop, whoop. You know how they say, they be like, whoop, whoop, over there. You know what I'm saying? Whoop, 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 whoop. You saw what? Oh, man, my girl, she was outside on the grill, and she seen this shit in the sky. You saw that shit? Nah, man, my man, he just took a picture. Ain't no conversation like that. Other people, cause that shit look close as hell. And that's your homie neighborhood where he live at. I know he know people in the neighborhood. Everybody, you know. Somebody else. That shit is bright. It's fucking 6 lights. 6 bright ass lights moving through the sky. Ain't nobody else seen them? Got no picture, no video? Ah, man, look. I don't think I'm going out west no more. You know, that's just me though. Cause it was that one family in Nevada talking about the aliens in their backyard, and Shaman seeing UFOs in Cali. Man, look, man. Motherfucker try to abduct my black ass. I'm good. I'm so good on that. You say witnesses saw me take the picture, nigga. Shit, I wasn't standing outside by myself. Other people saw that shit. They saw me taking pictures. That shit probably so common to them Cali motherfuckers. Nobody don't even photograph that shit no more. Oh, that's your first time, bruh? That's your first time seeing that? Man, I had like 37 pictures on my phone one time. I just started deleting them shits, man. I had so many UFOs on my phone. That shit was starting to take up memory space and shit. And P said that shit was so close he could have threw a boot at it. And that bitch was right there. I was right up on that shit, son. And I could threw my boot at that bitch. and hit it. But I didn't because it was aliens, you know. Shit, I don't know if aliens take that as disrespect or not. I saw a UFO when I was in 10th grade. I was at school when I seen that shit, yo. At school, on the school, like that shit was like hovering like above the court area in the front of the school. It was weird because it was during class, so nobody went outside. So I was in art class. As a matter of fact, we was actually doing photography, and you know, we didn't have a lot of digital cameras, but we had this brand new digital camera, and the teacher said we can leave the class in pairs and go take a couple of pictures. You know, each person get a chance to, you know, photograph something on campus, and then come back, and then we pass the camera off to the next set of kids. So me and I can't remember this nigga name though. Oh, what was his name? Joe. Damn, Joe. What Joe last name? I can't think of his last name right now. Anyway, me and a homie. So me and him get the camera. We like, all right. I don't know if we're gonna photograph, but fuck, we just go out. We walk, you know, one side of the campus. Come back. And walk to the other side of the campus. Taking some pictures here, just taking pictures of dumb shit. Trying to get some like up close pictures of some bugs and shit. And then we was like, alright, so we going back to the class. You know, we figure, alright, we got, you know, a couple pictures to work with. Go back to class and get a camera to the next people. So as we walking back to the building that housed the art room, like, y'all just see something in the sky. And this is, now I had the camera in my hand. This is how stupid I feel telling this story every time, and how idiotic it is, but this is how shocked I was, because my mind didn't, like, not how it is nowadays, like World Star and all this and all that shit. Like, motherfuckers be quick to grab their phones and record and picture some shit, but I was carrying the camera. I had the camera in my hand, and I seen some shit in the sky, and this shit was like a silver orb. And I'm looking out, and first I was like, that's a fucking helicopter, and then it's like, no, there's no propellers or nothing on that shit, and that shit was just kind of like floating. And the homie ain't see that shit, so I prompt his ass. I'm like, bruh, do you not see this? He looks up, he's like, oh shit, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I don't know. And so right then we just looked at each other, yo, we ran in the classroom, and both of us. And this is how I know I'm not crazy, because he was saying the same thing. We was like, yo, teacher. He was like, yo, you gotta come outside and look at this. And she was like, what are you guys talking about? It's like, yo, there's something hovering over the school. And then me, the guy Joe, and the teacher, all three of us ran outside, and the shit was gone. And she was like, well, what was it? We was like, we don't know. And she was like, well, did you photograph it? And I was like, no. She's like, why didn't you just take a picture of it? I was like, I don't know why I didn't take a picture of it. Oh my god, bro. And she was like, are you guys sure it wasn't plane, helicopter? We was like, no, listen, lady, this shit was a silver orb that was fucking hovering with no propellers and no wings. That shit was just kind of hovering there, like literally like it was looking at us. And it wasn't that big. It was about the size of a small helicopter or something. It wasn't like some people say, oh, it was the size of a football field. Like, nah, this shit was just like a little spherical vehicle or some shit. I don't know. That shit was crazy. at school. I'll never forget. Matter of fact, I swear to fucking God, yo. Swear to God. So when I went to go do my GED, no, that wasn't even my GED. It was I think it was like our exit exam or some part of the SATs or some test like that. And when it came to the fucking essay part, like one of the essay questions was, or one of the essay topics was, tell a story that is absolutely real that would be hard for people to believe. And I wrote the fucking UFO the same way I just described that shit. Like I wrote that as my essay. And I passed. It was like, well, that's interesting. I'm like, yeah, I bet it the fuck is. It's like, nah, and this shit is not made up. I'm not just coming up with some fucking fiction just to have something to write for this topic. Did you photograph it? And I'm like, I just looked at her with, I don't know, I've never felt so defeated in my life, and I just like, nah. And then it just like, I don't know, still to this day, it's like, why didn't you had the camera in your hand. You were holding a digital camera. You know what? I think that shit probably would have been like life altering for me. If I would have photographed that shit and it really was something, then my life would have went down this weird spiral. I probably would have been like some major UFO enthusiast from a young age, going to all kind of conventions and all kind of shit. I probably would have never really focused on nothing else other than trying to prove that this thing in this photograph is real. So it's probably for the best that I didn't get that shit on camera. He said he'll shoot you down with the quickness. I can agree with him on some things, and then some things just like, nah, Tyson. Gotta stick with what I believe in, man. Genetic panspermia, bro.
I want a part 2 on this, no cap.
German-based biotechnology engineer recently released this video depicting what he considers to be the future of all humanity. The video shows hundreds of artificial wombs and growth pods that are being called ectolife chambers. And these chambers are designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside of a mother's uterus. Each pod uses artificial intelligence to monitor and track all of the baby's physical and biological data, and then it relays that information to the respective parents using an app on their phone. The app will also offer a 24/7 high-resolution live video feed of the baby and the ability to choose what music the baby will listen to and what frequencies will be fed to the baby during its development. Each pod will be equipped with a 360-degree camera on top of the baby's head that will grant the parent the ability to use virtual reality headsets to see what the baby sees and to hear what the baby hears. The parents will also receive an ectolife haptic feedback vest that will replicate the baby's movements and even its kicks. If the parents choose the ectolife Elite package, they will have the opportunity to use the CRISPR gene editing tool to genetically engineer the baby's genes, customizing its eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. We are not only living in a dystopian sci-fi world, but we are inching our way closer and closer to Neo's Matrix.
And what that is?
'23 just got even crazier. Part 4. Firstly, just yesterday, the U.S. military shot down an unknown flying object off the coast of Alaska because it posed a...
Now, I'm just putting in a search. See if there's an audio book for Brave New World. Yeah, there's an audio book here. You might listen to like the first chapter of Brave New World.
I've been in and out of therapy with BetterHelp for a few years now, and it's me prioritizing my mental and emotional health.
267 days at 8 meters strong. How, if any, of the eggs remained up?
Why does it start at chapter 2?
Brave New.
So this dude, like in that last TikTok conspiracy video, they said, oh, there's this German laboratory that has all these birthing pods that will be tuned to the exact conditions of an actual womb in order to produce perfect children, and you can even use the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology for the right price, and then you can customize your child height, appearance, and intelligence to whatever your liking and desires are. And so this seems like, oh wow, this is like such a weird new concept, this weird new idea of like growing people in labs. But Brave New World was published in the 40s, I think, by Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley was the brother of Julian Huxley. If you look up Julian Huxley, he was a major insider.
By Aldous Huxley. Read by Steve Parker. 1. A squat, grey building of only 34 stories. Over the main entrance, the words Central London Hatchery and Conditioning Centre, and in a shield, the World State's motto, Community, Identity, Stability. The enormous room on the ground floor faced towards the north. Cold for all the summer beyond the panes, for all the tropical heat of the room itself. A harsh, thin light glared through the windows, hungrily seeking some draped lay figure, some pallid shape of academic gooseflesh, but finding only the glass and nickel and bleakly shining porcelain of a laboratory. Winteriness responded to winteriness. The overalls of the workers were white, their hands gloved with a pale, corpse-colored rubber. The light was frozen, dead, a ghost. Only from the yellow barrels of the microscopes did it borrow a certain rich and living substance, lying along the polished tubes like butter, streak after luscious streak in long recession down the work tables. And this, said the director, opening the door, is the fertilizing room. Bent over their instruments, 300 fertilizers were plunged as the director of hatcheries and conditioning entered the room, into the scarcely breathing silence. The absent-minded soliloquizing hum or whistle of absorbed concentration. A troop of newly arrived students, very young, pink and callow, followed nervously, rather abjectly, at the director's heels. Each of them carried a notebook in which, whenever the great man spoke, he desperately scribbled, straight from the horse's mouth. It was a rare privilege. The DHC for Central London always made a point of personally conducting his new students round the various departments. Just to give you a general idea, he would explain to them. For, of course, some sort of general idea they must have if they were to do their work intelligently, though as little of one, as they were to be good and happy members of society as possible. For particulars, as everyone knows, make for virtue and happiness. Generalities are intellectually necessary evils. Not philosophers, but fret sawyers and stamp collectors compose the backbone of society. Tomorrow, he would add, smiling at them with a slightly menacing geniality, you'll be settling down to serious work. You won't have time for generalities. Meanwhile, it was a privilege. Straight from the horse's mouth into the notebook, the boys scribbled like mad. Tall and rather thin, but upright, the director advanced into the room. He had a long chin and big, rather prominent teeth just covered, when he was not talking, by his full, floridly curved lips. Old, young, 30, 50, 55, it was hard to say. And anyhow, the question didn't arise. In this year of stability, AF 632, it didn't occur to you to ask it. I shall begin at the beginning, said the DHC, and the more zealous students recorded his intention in their notebooks. Begin at the beginning. These, he waved his hand, are the incubators. And opening an insulated door, he showed them racks upon racks of numbered test tubes. The weak supply of overkept, he explained, and
racks upon racks of test tubes. The incubators. And what are they incubating in this whole lab facility?
Heat, whereas the male gametes, and here he opened another door, they have to be kept at 35 instead of 37, full blood heat sterilizers. Rams wrapped in thermogene beget no lambs. Still leaning against the incubators, he gave them, while the pencils scurried illegibly across the pages, a brief description of the modern fertilizing process. Spoke first, of course, of its surgical introduction. The operation undergone voluntarily for the good of society, not to mention the fact that it carries a bonus amounting to 6 months' salary. Continued with some account of the technique for preserving the excised ovary alive and actively developing, passed on to a consideration of optimum temperature, salinity, viscosity, referred to the liquor in which the detached and ripened eggs were kept, and, leading his charges to the work tables, actually showed them how this liquor was drawn off from the test tubes, how it was let out drop by drop onto the specially warmed slides of the microscopes, how the eggs which it contained were inspected for abnormalities, counted and transferred to a porous receptacle, how, and he now took them to watch the operation, this receptacle was immersed in a warm bouillon containing free-swimming spermatozoa at a minimum concentration of 100,000 per cubic centimeter, he insisted, and how, after 10 minutes, the container was lifted out of the liquid and its contents re-examined, how, if any of the eggs remained unfertilized, it was again immersed, and, if necessary, yet again. How the fertilized ova went back to the incubators where the alphas and betas remained until definitely bottled, while the gammas, deltas, and epsilons were brought out again after only 36 hours to undergo Bokanovsky's process. Bokanovsky's process, repeated the director and the student.
So in 1930 or 1940 something, this man had this crazy idea of this futuristic scenario where people are grown in laboratories and they have very stringent and precise conditions to create alphas, betas, gammas, deltas, and different types of individuals that they need to repopulate their society. And they're showing the new engineers and chemists and scientists who will be running this facility, he's just giving them a tour and telling them how it operates and the magnificent achievements of science to produce sterile and clean human beings straight from a test tube. This shit is not new at all. They've been pushing towards this thing for a long time. Yo, Sham Fam Games, what's good, bro? Yo, what's good, man? Trying to get some of these little details into this hand, slowly but surely. Trying to work it out, bro. So here, But yeah, when these people start talking about these artificial wombs and these laboratories created to grow people using the CRISPR-Cas9 system, like, this has been thought about for a long time. And I don't think Aldous Huxley was a proponent of to perpetuate this type of breeding techniques, or what else would they call it? Fucking I can't think of the word now. Eugenics. This type of eugenics program. I don't know if this is the future that he desired, but the way he lays it out in this story is very fucking fascinating. Very fascinating. They've tried to make this movie a couple of times. I think there was like one iteration of it that I watched, and it's just super corny. It's really hard to like bring the depth of this story to life on screen. There's so much to it, but I don't know. People have tried unsuccessfully, in my opinion. But if you've never read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, I would definitely read it.
Underline the words in their little notebooks. One egg.
Alright, I'm going to try to get a little bit more, and then I'll pull back and see what it looks like from a distance.
One adult normality, but a Bukanovskified egg will bud, will proliferate, will divide from 8 to 96 buds, and every bud will grow into a perfectly formed embryo, and every embryo into a full-sized adult, making 96 human beings grow where only one grew before. Progress. Essentially, the DHC concluded, Bukanovskification consists of a series of arrests of development. We check the normal growth, and paradoxically enough, the egg responds by budding. Responds by budding. The pencils were busy. He pointed. On a very slowly moving band, a rack full of test tubes was entering a large metal box. Another rack full was emerging. Machinery faintly purred. It took 8 minutes for the tubes to go through, he told them. 8 minutes of hard X-rays being about as much as an egg can stand. A few died. Of the rest, the least susceptible divided into 2. Most put out 4 buds, some 8. All were returned to the incubators where the buds began to develop. Then, after 2 days, were suddenly chilled and checked. 2, 4, 8. The buds in their turn budded, and having budded, were dosed almost to death with alcohol. Consequently, burgeoned again, and having budded, bud out of bud out of bud, were therefore further arrest being generally fatal, left to develop in peace. By which time, the original egg was in a fair way to becoming anything from 8 to 96 embryos, a prodigious improvement, you will agree, on nature. Identical twins, but not in piddling 2s and 3s as in the old viviparous days when an egg would sometimes accidentally divide. Actually by dozens, by scores at a time. Scores, the director repeated, and flung out his arms as though he were distributing largesse. Scores. But one of the students was fool enough to ask where the advantage lay. My good boy, the director wheeled sharply round on him. Can't you see? Can't you see? He raised a hand. His expression was solemn. Bukanovsky's process is one of the major instruments of social stability. Major instruments of social stability. Standard men and women in uniform batches. The whole of a small factory staffed with the products of a single Bukanovskified egg. 96 identical twins working 96 identical machines. The voice was almost tremulous with enthusiasm. You really know where you are for the first time in history. He quoted the planetary motto, community, identity, stability. Grand words. If we could Bukanovskify indefinitely, the whole problem would be solved. Solved by standard gammas, unvarying deltas, uniform epsilons, millions of identical twins. The principles of mass production at last applied to biology. But alas, the director shook his head. We can't Bukanovskify indefinitely. 96 seemed to be the limit. 72 a good average. From the same ovary and with gametes of the same male to manufacture as many batches of identical twins as possible, that was the best, sadly a second best, that they could do, and even that was difficult. For in nature, it takes 30 years for 200 eggs to reach maturity, but our business is to stabilize the population at this moment, here and now. Dribbling out twins over a quarter of a century, what would be the use of that? Obviously, no use at all. But Potsnap's technique had immensely accelerated the process of ripening. They could make sure of at least 150 mature eggs within 2 years. Fertilize and Bokanovskify, in other words, multiply by 72, and you get an average of nearly 11,000 brothers and sisters in 150 batches of identical twins, all within 2 years of the same age. And in exceptional cases, we can make one ovary yield us over 15,000 adult individuals. Beckoning to a fair-haired, ruddy young man who happened to be passing at the moment, "Mr. Foster," he called. The ruddy young man approached. "Can you tell us the record for a single ovary, Mr. Foster?" "There's 16,012 in this center," Mr. Foster replied without hesitation. He spoke very quickly, had a vivacious blue eye, and took an evident pleasure in quoting figures. 16,012 in 189 batches of identicals, but of course they've done much better, he rattled on. In some of the tropical centers, Singapore has often produced over 16,500, and Mombasa has actually touched the 17,000 mark, but then they have unfair advantages. You should see the way a Negro ovary responds to pituitary. It's quite astonishing when you...
They have an advantage because they're using Negro ovaries that respond better. Even here, they just let you know that the genetics of black people, there's just something different about it. There's just something a little different. And it's like, even in a science fiction novel, he just had to admit, like, I bet black people would do better with this shit.
Used to working with European materials. Still, he added with a laugh, but the light of combat was in his eyes and the lift of his chin was challenging. Still, we mean to beat them if we can. I'm working on a wonderful Delta Minus ovary at this moment, only just 18 months old. Over 12,700 children already, either decanted or in embryo, and still going strong. We'll beat them yet. That's the spirit I like, cried the director, and clapped Mr. Foster on the shoulder. Come along with us and give these boys the benefit of your expert knowledge. Mr. Foster smiled modestly. With pleasure. They went. In the bottling room, all was harmonious bustle and ordered activity. Flats of fresh sour's peritoneum, ready cut to the proper size, came shooting up in little lifts from the organ store in the sub-basement. Whiz, and then click, the lift hatches hew open. The bottle liner had only to reach out a hand, take the flap, insert, smooth down, and before the line bottle had had time to travel out of reach along the endless band, whiz, click, another flap of peritoneum had shot up from the depths, ready to be slipped into yet another bottle, and next of that slow, interminable procession on the band. Next to the liners stood the matriculators. The procession advanced. One by one, the eggs were transferred from their test tubes to the larger containers. Deftly, the peritoneal lining was slit, the morula dropped into place, the saline solution poured in, and already the bottle had passed, and it was turn of the labelers. Heredity, date of fertilization, membership of Bokanovsky group details were transferred from test tube to bottle. No longer anonymous, but named, identified, the procession marched slowly on through an opening in the wall, slowly on into the social predestination room. 88 cubic meters of card index, said Mr. Foster with relish as they entered. Containing all the relevant information, added the director, brought up to date every morning and coordinated every afternoon, on the basis of which they make their calculations. So many individuals of such and such quality, said Mr. Foster. Distributed in such and such quantities, the optimum decanting rate at any given moment, unforeseen wastages promptly made good. Promptly, repeated Mr. Foster. If you knew the amount of overtime I had to put in after the last Japanese earthquake. He laughed good-humouredly and shook his head. The predestinators send in the figures to the fertilizers, who give them embryos they ask for, and the bottles come in here to be predestined in detail, after which they are sent down to the embryo store, where we now proceed ourselves. And opening a door, Mr. Foster led the way down a staircase into the basement. The temperature was still tropical. They descended into a thickening twilight. 2 doors and a passage with a double turn ensured the cellar against any possible infiltration of the day. Embryos are like photograph film, said Mr. Foster waggishly as he pushed open the second door. They can only stand red light. And, in effect, the sultry darkness into which the students now followed him was visible and crimson, like the darkness of closed eyes on a summer's afternoon. The bulging flanks of row on receding row and tier above tier of bottles glinted with innumerable rubies, and amongst the rubies moved the dim red spectres of men and women with purple eyes and all the symptoms of lupus. The hum and rattle of machinery faintly stirred the air. "Give them a few figures, Mr. Foster," said the director, who was tired of talking. Mr. Foster was only too happy to give them a few figures. 220 meters long, 200 wide, 10 high, he pointed upwards. Like chickens drinking, the students lifted their eyes towards the distant ceiling. 3 tiers of racks, ground floor level, first gallery, second gallery. The spidery steel work of gallery above gallery faded away in all directions into the dark. Near them, 3 red ghosts were busily unloading demijohns from a moving staircase. The escalator from the social predestination room. Each bottle could be placed on one of 15 racks. Each rack, though you couldn't see it, was a conveyor, traveling at the rate of 33 1/3 centimeters an hour. 267 days at 8 meters a day, 2,136 meters in all. 1 circuit of the cellar at ground level, 1 on the first gallery, half on the second, and on the 267th morning, daylight in the decanting room. Independent existence, so called. But in the interval, Mr. Foster concluded, we've managed to do a lot to them. Oh, a very great deal. His laugh was knowing and triumphant. That's the spirit I like, said the director once more. Let's walk around. You tell them everything, Mr. Foster. Mr. Foster duly told them. Told them of the growing embryo on its bed of peritoneum. Made them taste the rich blood surrogate on which it fed. Explained why it had to be stimulated with placentin and thyroxin, told them of the corpus luteum extract, showed them the jets through which at every 12th meter from 0 to 2040 it was automatically injected, spoke of those gradually increasing doses of pituitary administered during the final 96 meters of the course, described the artificial maternal circulation installed in every bottle at meter 112, showed them the reservoir of blood surrogate, the centrifugal pump that kept the liquid moving over the placenta and drove it through the synthetic lung and waste product filter, referred to the embryo's troublesome tendency to anemia, to the massive doses of hog stomach extract and fetal foal's liver with which, in consequence, it had to be supplied. Showed them the simple mechanism by means of which, during the last 2 meters out of every 8, all the embryos were simultaneously shaken into familiarity with movement, hinted at the gravity of so-called trauma of decanting, and enumerated the precautions taken to minimize, by a suitable training of the bottled embryo, that dangerous shock. Told them of the test for sex carried out in the neighborhood of meter 200, explained the system of labeling, a T for the males, a circle for the females, and for those who are destined to become free martins, a question mark, black on a white ground. For of course, said Mr. Foster, in the vast majority of cases fertility is merely a nuisance. 1 fertile ovary in 1200, that would really be quite sufficient for our purposes. But we want to have a good choice, and of course one must always have an enormous margin of safety. So we allow as many as 30% of the female embryos to develop normally. The others get a dose of male sex hormone every 24 meters for the rest of the course. Result, they're decanted as free martins. Structurally quite normal, except he had to admit that they do have the slightest tendency to grow beards. But sterile, guaranteed sterile, which brings us at last, continued Mr. Foster, out of the realm of mere slavish imitation of nature into the much more interesting world of human invention. He rubbed his hands, for, of course, they didn't content themselves with merely hatching out embryos. Any cow could do that. We also predestine and condition. We decant our babies as socialized human beings, as alphas or epsilons, as future sewer workers or future... he was going to say future world controllers, but corrected himself and said future directors of hatcheries instead. The DHC acknowledged the compliment with a smile. They were passing meter 320 on rack 11. A young beta-minus mechanic was busy with screwdriver and spanner on the blood surrogate pump of a passing bottle. The hum of the electric motor deepened by fractions of a tone as he turned the nuts. Down, down. A final twist, a glance at the revolution counter, and he was done. He moved 2 paces down the line and began the same process on the next pump. Reducing the number of revolutions per minute, Mr. Foster explained. The surrogate goes round slower, therefore passes through the longer intervals, therefore gives the embryo less oxygen. Nothing like oxygen shortage for keeping an embryo below par. Again, he rubbed his hands. But why do you want to keep the embryo below par? Asked an ingenious student. Ass, said the director, breaking a long silence. Hasn't it occurred to you that an epsilon embryo must have an epsilon environment as well as an epsilon heredity? It evidently hadn't occurred to him. He was covered with confusion. The lower the caste, said Mr. Foster, the shorter the oxygen. The first organ affected was the brain. After that, the skeleton. At 70% of normal oxygen, you got dwarfs. At less than 70, eyeless monsters. Who are no use at all, concluded Mr. Foster. Whereas, his voice became confidential and eager. If they could discover a technique for shortening the period of maturation, what a triumph, what a benefaction to society. Consider the horse. They considered it. Mature at 6, the elephant at 10. While at 13, a man is not yet sexually mature and is only full grown at 20. Hence, of course, that fruit of delayed development, the human intelligence. But in epsilons, said Mr. Foster very justly, we just don't need human intelligence. Didn't need and didn't get it. But though the epsilon mind was mature at 10, the epsilon body was not fit to work till 18. Long years of superfluous and wasted immaturity. If the physical development could be speeded up till it was as quick, say, as a cow's, what an enormous savings to the community. Enormous, muttered the students. Mr. Foster's enthusiasm was infectious. He became rather technical, spoke of the abnormal endocrine coordination which made men grow so slowly, postulated a germinal mutation to account for it. Could the effects of this germinal mutation be undone? Could the individual epsilon embryos be made a revert by a suitable technique to the normality of dogs and cows? That was the problem, and it was all but solved. Pilkington at Mombasa had produced individuals who were sexually mature at 4 and full grown at 6.5, a scientific triumph, but socially useless. 6-year-old men and women were too stupid to do even epsilon work, and the process was an all or nothing one. Either you failed to modify at all, or else you modified the whole way. They were still trying to find the ideal compromise between adults of 20 and adults of 6. So far, without success, Mr. Foster sighed and shook his head. Their wanderings through the crimson twilight had brought them to the neighborhood of meter 170 on rack 9. From this point onwards, rack 9 was enclosed, and the bottle performed the remainder of their journey in a kind of tunnel, interrupted here and there by openings 2 or 3 meters wide. Heat conditioning, said Mr. Foster. Hot tunnels alternated with cool tunnels. Coolness was wedded to discomfort in the form of hard X-rays. By the time they were decanted, the embryos had a horror of cold. They were predestined to emigrate to the tropics, to be miner and acetate silk spinners and steel workers. Later on, their minds would be made to endorse the judgment of their bodies. We condition them to thrive on heat, concluded Mr. Foster. Our colleagues upstairs will teach them to love it. And that, put in the director sententiously, that is the secret of happiness and virtue liking what you've got to do. All conditioning aims at that, making people like their inescapable social destiny. In a gap between 2 tunnels, a nurse was delicately probing with a long, fine syringe into the gelatinous contents of a passing bottle. The student and their guide stood watching her for a few moments in silence. Well, Lenina, said Mr. Foster when at last she withdrew the syringe and straightened herself up. The girl turned with a start. One could see that, for all the lupus and the purple eyes, she was uncommonly pretty. Henry! Her smile flashed redly at him, a row of coral teeth. Charming, charming, murmured the director, and, giving her 2 or 3 little pats, received in exchange a rather deferential smile for himself. What are you giving them? Asked Mr. Foster, making his tone very professional. Oh, the usual typhoid and sleeping sickness. Tropical workers start being inoculated at meter 150, Mr. Foster explained to the students. The embryos still have gills. We immunize the fish against the future man's diseases. Then, turning back to Lelina, 10 to 5 on the roof this afternoon, he said, as usual. Charming, said the director once more, and with a final pat, moved away after the others. On Rack 10, rows of Next Generation's chemical workers were being trained in the toleration of lead, caustic soda, tar, and chlorine. The first of a batch of 250 embryonic rocket plane engineers was just passing the 1100-meter mark on Rack 3. A special mechanism kept their containers in constant rotation. To improve their sense of balance, Mr. Foster explained. Doing repairs on the outside of a rocket in mid-air is a ticklish job. We slack...
Yeah, he describes the whole process of just making people. And then...
time it is, man. We got these woke TikToks. Makes it...
package, they will have the opportunity to use the CRISPR gene editing tool to genetically engineer the baby's genes, customizing its eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. We are not only...
Yep. And in that book, Brave New World, they just show you, even then in the 40s, that they had some type of scientific model that may work to make people shorter, to make people enjoy being in hot conditions, to make people less intelligent so that they don't question their position in society. And they're trying to figure out a way to grow a person and to be fully grown in 6 years. Fully mature. That's one thing that I did think was weird. Like, that book really did make me look at how soft and spongy humans are, because, like he addressed, cows and elephants and horses, these motherfuckers get up and start running around as soon as they fall out the goddamn pussy. Like, a horse is born, and then within an hour, this motherfucker is up and running around. It takes us a fucking year to even start moving on our own. To even build enough muscle to fucking hold our own heads up. It's so weird how soft we are and how delicate we are for fucking years. Like, the first four years of our lives were just like this blob of mush. And then even then, like, we're still just very soft animals. Like, we're easily broken. Like, if you punch a gorilla in the face and the gorilla punches you in the face, or if you bite your dog and then your dog bites you, it's like almost every animal. Like, if you scratch a squirrel but then let a squirrel scratch you up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Humans are fucking weird and weak. And so that's why they want to be able to genetically engineer people to be stronger, super beings, superhumans, super people that are smarter and more beautiful and have they're taller and have more muscles and more physically agile, and they live longer. I think I'm gonna try to get to a stopping point right here. Something like that, maybe. Alright, all the details aren't there yet, but we're getting close. It's starting to look like something. It doesn't look like that anymore. You know, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Add some details, do a little blending. Add some details, do a little blending. Add some details, do a little blending. Add some details. Conga. My bad, I'm sorry. I think I'm just getting sleepy. Alright. And then I think this is too dark here. I can just come back. I want to be seeing that shit, man. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna just have to leave that right there for a second. Let that dry a little bit and come back and get later on. Right, one more time, I can just one more time this. One more time this, like that. You made this and this and this and this. You made that. Oh, I forgot to do this under here. Damn. See? It'd be so hard to find a stopping point sometimes. Alright, let me... Okay. Alright. Alright, feel good enough to take a little break right now. I can stop right there for right now. Maybe, because I see something. Hold up, one more little schmidget. Why is that? Why is this looking like that right there? Alright. Because I'm going to lighten that up in there anyway once it dries a little bit. Gotta be a little tacky. That's lightly sticky. Not being aggy. That's lightly pricky. My pants be saggy. Cause I be dripping. And I'm so savvy. Cause I stay pimping and pimping. Now listen. I flow stupendous when I be on that liquid. Cause I mix that gin with some of that Henny. Alright. What did we do just now? Almost 2 hours. We almost got 2 hours. I was only going to do an hour anyway. It's almost 6 o'clock. Almost 6 o'clock. Well, you know what? Let's see what this is looking like right about now, actually. Oh, let's turn this off. Let's see what we got here. Work out the little details in the hanging. I'm liking it. I really think it looks good. Looking good so far. Alright. Alright, I'm out of here. I'm about to take my ass back downstairs. Like always, I appreciate y'all chilling in the studio with me, keeping me company, encouraging me, and motivating me to be the best artist that I can be. It sounds weird, but that shit come from the heart, I do appreciate everybody, man. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for a little while, watching the progress on this painting. Working on some fingers today. And it's looking pretty good, man. Alright, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.